People where music has just been this presence in your life since you was a young thing, or are you the kind of guy where you didn't really care much for it? Were your parents busting out the classics? Like, bring us back to your childhood and a little bit when music became a force in your world.
I got a question before I answer. When you say music, do you mean music as like a whole, like just music as any genre, or more hip hop?
I'm saying music because, it doesn't matter what kind of create dash tour you are. You're going to have a point where you started consuming music and fell in love with it in the first place, right? So
Yeah.
that's the
So
place we're trying to get to.
as far as I can remember, I've always been music. I know that that sentence may not make sense, but I feel like I've always just been surrounded by music. My father's West Indian. My
Okay.
mother, my mother, they're both born from Montreal, Canada, Montreal, Quebec, whatever. But my father's West Indian. My mother is also half African, or at least island. I just don't know from where exactly. Just never something that ever really brought up, but that's on me. So I feel like my dad and my mom were really, and not that their background or culture has anything to do with it, but I feel like they did play a lot of music while growing up. Like it was just a thing.
All
And my
right.
dad just
What's it?
always had music playing.
So, like, there's a new question I want to start asking everybody, and you're going to be
Yeah,
the first victim of this.
nice.
I realized recently that club bangers. So whatever's a club banger today, it's basically mom cleaning music one day, right? Because if you think about it, whatever your mom was bumping when she was cleaning up, that's what she was dancing to in the club because that was that turn up energy and whatnot. So I'm curious to know what were some of the mom cleaning bangers, and by virtue maybe your dad's version of that you grew up with that would have been like shit you heard all the time.
My mom, my dad's a really hard question. I mean, my dad wasn't really like a cleaning banger. Mostly my
Fair
mom
enough.
really cleaned, right? Um, my dad, I'm gonna start with my dad first. A lot of it was like just hip hop radio, American radio, like Sirius XM, trying to get satellite radios and stuff like that. So because he was always in the hip hop scene. He was growing up. He was like DJing. He was in the clubs. He was this that. So my
So
love
your
for
dad
hip
was a
hop.
DJ.
My dad was DJ for his school for like 3 years. He ran the school student body. He was like, my dad is like, he was on sports. He's like the super cool kid, techie nerd guy. Like, he knows everything of everything for no absolute reason. Like,
Okay.
he'll play soccer with you, and then in the middle of a soccer game, if you're like, yo, Robert, what's going on with my computer? He'll just stop the game and be like, what's happening? Because I can build your computer. Well, there was a time that my dad could probably build computers blindfolded. So like he's always just been that type, and I strive to be like that a lot. Actually, not even a little bit, a lot. So a lot of my music from him, I guess, was hip hop, just kind of who he was. He wasn't really in the streets, but living in Longueuil wasn't like the easiest for him. So yeah, there's that kind of where that comes from. I got a lot of his music from the car radio though.
And your
So
mom, the cleaning bangers.
all R&B, Usher, Luther
Mm.
Vandross, that I forget his name, but the big black guy who won American Idol.
Ruben.
Yeah,
Ruben
Ruben
stuttered.
stuttered. Yo, Ruben stuttered. So, just a quick tangent. That was like a real bonding moment for me and my mom. Like a real serious bonding moment for me and my mother because she has this weird love of music, but like has no idea what music is. But she just knows what sounds good and what is good and what makes her vibe and stuff, right? So we were watching like American Idol growing up and all that shit, and she was like falling in love with Ruben Studdard, and I called it. I was like, he's gonna win. She's like, nah, I love him, but I don't think so. I'm like, he's gonna win. He ended up winning, and I swear to you, like the day his album came out, she bought it, and we were just listening to it on repeat for like 4 hours. Like we just back and forth, like we were just both there, so content, and it was such a real connecting moment with my mother. It was super cool. Um, yeah, but I wanted to also say something with that. I think, because you said, can you just re-say your question again?
What's your mom's cleaning bangers?
No. The original the original question that you're gonna ask everybody. Something
That was
about
it.
like the clubs.
That was the question. The club songs that turn into cleaning bangers. They're the same songs.
So I feel like that in itself also has to do with like eras and age and shit. Cause like my mom is like 50 something. And when my mom, I feel was in like in the era of clubs and times like that, right? There was a certain vibe for her and like the women, I guess, around her and stuff like that they really felt was super cool, right? And as they got older, music that sounds like that ends up being like that. Because my mom right now,
That's
if
what
you
I'm
throw on,
saying.
no, but
That's the whole.
wait, hold on. So what I'm trying to say is like the club bang, like, and it depends on the club you go to, right? Like, there's some clubs that have like specific type of banger music, and some clubs like the heavy gangster banger music, depending on where you go. So if I throw on a gangster heavy banger club, whatever you want to consider it, my mom's gonna be like, turn that shit down.
But my point is, what was your mom's club bangers?
But
Because
that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm trying to say. So like this club banger.
it's implied that everything is going to be relative, right? So
Right.
that's the reason the question is what it is, because it was this epiphany I had where I realized everybody who grew up and listened to whatever when they were 20 dancing around, whatever that may be, is likely what they're going to be throwing on to find energy when they're 35. You know, that's it. So you're absolutely correct that it's going to be a super relative thing. That's
Yeah.
why it was your mom's, which was R&B. That's what she was vibing to. Trust, my mom had disco. My mom's
But, like,
bumping the disco,
she
so she
also
would throw on
had-
the disco. My
She
dad
also
liked
had a lot
Zeppelin
of
and
like
shit.
radio though. Like her preference was R&B and like that type of smoother stuff. But like she'd also put on the radio. So like one day in my teens, she was like, "Oh, you know that song with Wiz Khalifa?" And I'm like, "What?" And to be clear, my mom is like straight edge. She don't smoke, she don't drink,
Well, I
she
mean,
don't.
Wiz
So
Khalifa was everywhere.
no, but I'm saying like I know that, but I'm saying more like for my mom to turn around and ask me about Wiz Khalifa, it's like, okay, you really do just like music off the radio. Like you don't really go searching for music that what you like. You just aimlessly listen to the radio and then you like what you like. Cause I'll show you a bunch of Wiz Khalifa tracks that you won't
Yeah.
like.
But are they all young, wild, and free? Because I'm pretty sure that
No,
was the
it
song.
was no, it was the one with S Club 7 or fucking
So
Maroon
you're
5.
saying, okay, but they did a song with Maroon 5. You do a song with Maroon 5, and every mom in the world is going to be on board for a minute in that era. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is that's all like, it was just an interesting question to me, at least, because I think it's part of like that musical history and that musical journey that like leads you towards your own taste and preferences. It all kind of starts with childhood and whatnot.
But I
Bonnie
think
over
there's,
there in the comments is asking if they ever took you to concerts.
my very oh shit. Oh
Okay,
shit.
what is
Give me
it?
a second.
How
Wait.
is it? Well,
My very first concert was Rihanna.
all right.
Ever.
Riri,
My dad took me to go see Rihanna at the
the Bell Center.
the inflatable balloons that go in the thing with the fire in the air. Les mots
Okay.
gonflables. The hot
Okay.
air balloon festival.
I don't know what that is, but that's cool.
Oh, anyway, so she was performing at the Quebec hot air balloon festival, and that was my very first. I know that was my very first concert. After that, my mom took me to go see Usher for my birthday.
Usher's fun.
I mean, it was fun. I
Definitely
think
not what you would expect from most men
Not-
to have as their
but you
concert
know what?
trajectory, but fair
you
enough.
know what? Actually, I think it was a really cute thing because my mom, like, again, me and my mom have hard time kind of connecting with certain things. So her closest thing to rap is Yeah by Usher with Ludacris and Little John.
Mm.
So she's like, and because she always played it in the car, I mean, I can recite, like, not right now because I have not listened to it in a decade, but
It's also
can, like,
maybe
I would
bad
be
for
able to-
copyright.
for sure. But I was able to like recite and sing along. So she really, and I had a blast. It was a great performance. Usher does a great
I
performance.
think everybody can vibe to "You Remind Me." That's all I'm trying to say.
That is true. That is true.
Fair enough. So with concerts, we have this general sense that your parents love music. It's around. I guess a lot of radio was in your life, which is what it is because we all grew up with
Not
that, I
just
think.
not just that, not just that. So my mom's best friend is Bayesian from Barbados and all that island, and we're like really really close with that family too. Like her best friend is my aunt. Like you can't get any closer when an older woman like wipes your ass as a kid. So I
That's
call her
probably
mom and
true.
everything. Yeah, she's an amazing person. uh they were always playing dance hall and reggae and all that genre, so I had like that growing up in my life too. So music for me was everywhere. My grandmother used to listen to country, so like even just sitting in a car with my grandmother trying to ignore it, it's like you can't ignore the different guitar sounds, the pianos, which is where I developed my love for piano. Was all the country music my grandmother not forced me, but like just like to listen to.